Alright guys, so to continue on in section 4.1, I wanted to look at kind of a real world kind of example just to kind of see how we would do this. So I want to take a look at number 47. This is not part of the homework, but it's similar to something else that's going to be on the homework. So what they give us is something called a cost function, where c of x is mx plus b, and they look it's used to kind of measure what are the daily costs for like a company that produces something. And so for number 47 they talk about a factory that makes bicycles, and they tell us that the daily cost of just running the factory is $1,800, and then it also costs $90 to manufacture each of the bicycles. So what would the cost function look like? Well, if we think for a second, the cost function c of x. Well, we know every single day they have to spend at least $1,800. They have to spend $1,800 just to keep the factory open every day. So we're going to start off with that. Every day, that's the cost to start off with. But then they also have to spend $90 for every bicycle. If x is the number of bicycles, we can say if x was 1, they would spend $90 one time. If x was 2, they built 2 bicycles, they'd have to spend $90 twice. If x was 3, they'd have to spend $90 3 times. So it looks like the relationship we have is that 1,800x, that's what they start off with, and then how many times do they add $90? Well, it's however many times they add x. So it would be 1,800 plus 90 times x. If I plugged in the number of bicycles here, I would multiply that times 90, and that's how many times I have to add $90. I add that to my 1,800 that I need just to keep the factory open, and that'd be my cost. And we can rewrite it in a nicer way just so that it looks more like mx, the mx plus b thing. So we can write it as 90x plus 1,800, and that would be our cost function right there. C of x equals 90x plus 1,800, where x is the number of bicycles we made. Now I'm going to skip B, the graphing part, and go right to C, where it says, well, what if they made 14 bicycles? How much money would that cost? Well, this is no big deal. Once we have this, it means all we have to do is we have to do C of 14. And C of 14 would be 90 times 14 plus 1,800. So do the math real fast. So grab the calculator. 90 times 14, that's 1260. So 1260 plus 1,800 plus 1,800, that's 3,060. So if they make 14 bicycles, it would cost them $3,060 that day to keep the factory going. And then finally they ask us, well, if they spent $3,780, how many bicycles would we have, or could we make? And so what we have now is we know how much they spent, we just don't know how many bicycles we have. We don't know the x. The way we would set this up is we know what the finished product has to be. We know we have to end up with 3,780. What we don't know is the x, alright? 90x plus 1,800. Whatever number we plug in for x has to end up being 3,780. If we solve this, whatever number we get for x, that'll be the number that makes this work. So let's see what happens. We'll subtract the 1,800, so 90x on this side, and we get, what's this, 3,780 minus 1,800, 1980. And then divide by 90, and what do we get? 22. Which means that if they made 22 bicycles one day, that it would cost them this much money to keep the factory running. And that's how that works, guys.